This is the 2020 Coachmen Beyond 22C, formerly known as the Coachmen CrossFit. They recently changed the name to the Beyond. And there are a couple things which make this coach really unique here in North America. The biggest one being that this chassis is built on the Ford 350 HD gas transit chassis. And that makes it, in my book, one of only two coaches available here in North America built on the Ford Transit chassis, the other one being the Winnebago Paseo, which is really hard to find at this time. So if you're looking for a Class B coach built on the Ford Transit chassis, this is one of your two choices here in North America. And we're going to talk about later in the video why you might want to consider the Ford Transit chassis over perhaps the Mercedes Sprinter or the Ram ProMaster chassis. Now, there are some things that make the Beyond truly unique in its class beyond the fact that it's built on the Ford Transit chassis. And we're going to cover that, plus some thoughts that I have on ways that Coachmen can make this coach an even better Class B choice for many buyers. And one unique feature about the Ford Transit chassis is it is the only gas chassis available with dually rear wheels. So those dually rear wheels will just allow you to carry a little bit extra load, gives you a little more better control and stability when you're driving down the road. Also helps when you're towing something behind the vans. Now, as far as engine specs, the Transit chassis falls somewhere in between the Sprinter and the ProMaster. So the stock gas engine that you get is a 3.7 liter V6 engine, and that's capable of delivering 275 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. So that's roughly in line, very similar to the Ram ProMaster. But its torque is significantly less than what you would find on the Sprinter. However, you can upgrade to the optional 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine, and that boosts your horsepower up to 310 and your torque up to 400 pound-feet of torque. Now, on the stock 3.7 liter engine, you can expect to get around 14 to 18 miles per gallon. And it's important to note that Coachmen has opted to upgrade the suspension system on this coach as standard to the Sumo Spring front and rear suspension. And again, that will just help to smooth out the ride a little bit and give you a little bit better handling. The Ford Transit falls in between the Ram ProMaster and the Sprinter in terms of safety features. So while the Sprinter has a lot of active safety features in the new 2019 chassis, and the ProMaster has very few safety features, we find that the Transit kind of cuts down the middle between the two. Having things like lane keeping assist and the SOS post-crash alert system in my book are great safety features to have. And it's a little bit better than the ProMaster, but if you want all those other really active safety features, you'll need to pay a lot more and step up into the Mercedes Sprinter. Okay, let's take a look at the dimensions. So again, the Transit splits the difference between, on the lower end, the ProMaster, which is around 21 feet in length, and on the higher end, the Sprinter extended chassis, which is 24 feet in length. We have the Transit coming in at 22 feet 2 inches. Its exterior width is 7 feet. Its exterior height is 9 feet 11 inches. And on the interior, we get a standing height of 6 feet 3 inches. The OCCC rating on the Beyond is a very healthy 1,800 pounds. And I actually think this is a little lower than what's actually rated for this particular model that I'm reviewing. I think the model I'm reviewing is closer to 1,900 pounds. But even at 1,800 pounds, once we subtract out the weight of the driver and the weight of the passenger and a full tank of water, keeping in mind that a gallon of water is around 8.3 pounds, we have a net cargo carrying capacity of over 1,200 pounds. And that is just incredible for a Class B van. When we looked at the Wayfarer by Tiffin last week, we saw that it had a net cargo carrying capacity. That's a Class C, it's a much larger rig, but it had a net cargo carrying capacity of only 77 pounds. So this Beyond has just incredible cargo carrying capacity. You're not going to have to worry about loading it up and heading out on adventures. This Beyond is also outfitted with the upgraded aluminum wheels and that's a $1,000 upgrade. And this particular Beyond has been upgraded with the bike rack on the back, and that's an $850 upgrade. As we come around to the driver's side, you'll see it's really clean on this side. Almost no venting, no cutouts whatsoever. There's just a clean bank of windows along the side. And your service center is just right at the back there where those 4 ports are, and that's where you're going to have your city water filled. You're going to have your black tank flush. And then just forward of that, that is your shore power, where you're going to hook up your shore power. Your dump station is located down lower. There's a special place there where you can store your sewer hose. Before we head inside, let's take a look at the driver's seating position. This is just incredible to me. I have the seat pushed all the way back, and I have the seat back tilted as far back as it can go. And you can see here my hands, even with my fingers fully extended, I cannot even touch the steering wheel. So incredible leg room. If you're going a taller person, you should definitely check out the Transit. Let's head inside. You can see, even with the seat back pushed all the way back, we have almost 7 inches, at least 7 inches of clearance there at the headrest, and down below over a foot of clearance in the back. So just a ton of room in this Ford Transit. Let's take a quick pan here of the cab. You know, it's very automotive looking. You know, it's not as busy as the new 2019 Mercedes Sprinter chassis, but I think it's a little more upscale than the Ram ProMaster. An important note here is that the passenger seat does swivel, but the driver's seat does not swivel. It doesn't really matter, though, in this case, because there is no front table that you can put in between the 2 front seats. And before we head inside, let's just take a quick look at the layouts. Now, we're looking at this layout, which is the Beyond 22C, which has the rear lounge that converts into your bedroom, and midsection you have your galley. On the passenger side and on the driver's side you have your wet bath. But they also make a variant that is the 22D, which has 2 single beds which can be made into 1 large bed, and again your galley on the passenger side and your wet bath on the driver's side. Okay, as we head inside, this is what it looks like. This particular model has the high gloss white cabinetry. And I got to tell you, I think it just looks really stunning, especially when you combine it with the wood plank flooring. That's a vinyl flooring, but it looks like wood plank. The nice dark Corian countertops on the kitchen. I love the translucent doors on the bathroom. And I think that the ultra leather that they're using on the sofa just ties everything together very well. It's a more clean, modern look. Now, one thing I do want to point out, just an observation, is I don't think there's enough lighting in this coach. If you take a look at the ceiling, I mean, it does have under cabinet lighting, that's great, but you can always dim down and turn off banks of lights if it's too bright, but you can never add more lights in easily if there's not enough light. So it's something I encourage all of you to really look at, is go inside the coach, draw down all the blinds inside of it, make it as dark as you can, and then turn on the lights, all of them at full power, and make sure that the lighting in there is adequate at full power. And here, my concern is there's just not enough overhead lighting. Now here we are in the galley on the passenger side, and you can see, I love this layout where it's completely open from front to back. So when you're driving, you can see all that traffic on the passenger side and all the way wrapped around to the back windows. We've got a induction cooktop which has swapped out the 2-burner LP cooktop that you normally get. And one thing that Coachmen does that's really nice is that is not an additional option. So you can choose between the LP 2-burner cooktop or the single-burner induction cooktop, and there's no price increase for you. You've got your marine-style sink there. It's okay. I'm not a big fan of those marine-style sinks, mainly because when you put the lid down, the faucet controls on the inside of the sink, it folds down, and you can accidentally turn on the faucet, the water, without knowing it while the top's down. So I wish that they would put a more permanent residential style faucet here just in the back. I think it would be a better choice for them. Now you've got lots and lots of storage, as you can see here. I like the fact that they have a place for your sponge, and I like the fact that they have designed a place for your trash can as well. Now the upper cabinet storage, I actually like the look of the translucent doors. There's also in-cabinet lighting, which is very helpful. And also you can change the color of that in-cabinet lighting just to set the mood. So you can have this purple light kind of shining through the back of those translucent doors. I think it just adds a nice bit of swanky mood setting inside of the cab. Now, one thing I would want you and caution you to look out for is, while I like the look of the pull-out handles on the drawers, I can tell you that as I was moving back and forth in the coach, my pant leg got caught on those types of handles. And it's just the way that those handles are designed. I wish they look nice, but I wish they would move to more of the flush type of handles that can, knobs that can either be pushed in so that there's nothing at all that your clothing can grab onto. But that's just a minor ding here in the Galley. Let's take a closer look at how these drawers are constructed. If you look there at the joints, those are dovetail joints. That's a nice higher end way that these drawers are put together. Now these drawers are not, as you can see, these drawers are not positive locking. Across the aisleway, you have your 6 cubic foot compressor refrigerator. Now this also has a separate freezer down below, and that's a 2.5 cubic foot freezer. I like the compressor refrigerator as long as you've got enough battery capacity and solar power to keep those batteries charged up when you're not driving down the road. But the compressor refrigerator is going to cool down faster, and it's going to maintain its temperature better, especially in warmer climates. And above our refrigerator, we see our convection microwave. It is located up higher, so you'll need to go inside the coach and determine if you like it up higher or if you think it should be down lower. Let's round out the Galley by talking about the electrical system. So this coach comes with a very healthy single 330 amp hour AGM lead acid battery. Now keep in mind the way lead acid works is you basically divide that in half to get your true capacity. So we're talking about around 165 amp hour usable capacity. And I'm not quite sure if that is going to be enough to run a large 6 cubic foot compressor refrigerator. That's just a little bit of a concern of mine. However, you can upgrade this coach to the excellent Li3 system. That's actually powered by Xantrex. It's a 600 amp hour lithium system. Now the list price for that is $22,000, but in reality, you're going to pay a lot less than that. You'll pay between $13,000, I think, and maybe $15,000 for that upgrade. Which, if that's important to you, like if you need to run your overhead air conditioner, which we're going to talk about here in a second on this coach, it's been upgraded, then I certainly recommend you spend that money for the Li3 600 amp hour lithium upgrade. The standard inverter is 1000 watts. However, this coach has been upgraded to the 2000 watt inverter. This coach comes standard with a 2.8 kilowatt gas generator. So that's going to pull its fuel right off your main gas tank, and it's not running off liquid propane. And you get 100 watts of solar standard, which is nice. You can go all the way up to 200 watts of solar, which is what this coach has. And again, 200 watts of solar is about the minimum that I would want to see on a coach like this in order to run that compressor refrigerator. All right, moving on back to the rear lounge. Now, I've always been a proponent of the rear lounge setup. I just think as lounges go, it's one of the most ideal setups that you can have. Part of the reason is because you have a sofa in the back, which can seat 3 people. And then here you have ottomans, at least one of which on the passenger side can seat a person, and someone could sit on the driver's side, even though there is a wardrobe cabinet overhead. But in general, you can get a good number of people kind of sitting around back here. It's very open with all the windows and spacious. And, because the couch is electric, you can electrically recline it to get into a comfortable position. The TV is mounted in a proper place where you can actually see it when you're seated on the couch. And in this coach, we see that the couch itself has cup holders. That's not always the case in some of these rear lounge layouts. It's got armrests and it's got headrests. So it's a very comfortable lounge. Now, a point about these windows, these are the stock windows that are found on the Ford Transit, and these are slider type windows. And I've heard from some owners that, they would prefer to have more of the awning type windows just because when it's raining, the rain doesn't come in. But here, I haven't been in one of these in the rain, so I can't personally attest to that, but maybe that's something you would want to try out for yourself. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of blinds that they put in. They do have screens and they do have blackout. I just don't like the framing around them versus having a valance at the top. But that's just the way, these type of windows require these types of blinds. You have a couple reading lamps back here, which are always useful either at night when you're reading or at night when you're driving and someone's reading. And then you have the speakers built into the cabinets as well. Now, one problem that I have with this lounge is if you look, there are seat belts in the back, 3 of them, but they're all lap restraints. There are no 3-point seat belts back here in the back. And that's really unfortunate because when you get a coach with a rear lounge like this in a forward-facing bench seat, it's a missed opportunity not to put another 2 3-point seat belts back here so you could carry a total of 4 passengers in 3-point seat belts, and this coach can then be a little more useful as a touring coach. But in this case, we do not have those 3-point seat belts in the back here, and I have to ding the Beyond for that because they really should have put an extra 2 3-point seat belts back here. And that's a 22-inch LCD TV in the back, and that's also positive locking. You can see the little strap there. Kudos to Coachmen for attaching the LCD TV to a positive locking armature. That just means that TV is not going to vibrate loose and then start swinging around on you as you're driving down the road. Now, if you look up, if you look above you, the air conditioner on this particular coach has been upgraded to the Pro Air 20,000 BTU 12-volt air conditioning unit. So what this means is this air conditioning unit is going to cool off the coach faster because it's 20,000 BTUs, and it's much quieter, and it runs directly off DC, meaning that you don't have to start your generator necessarily to run this. Now, on this coach, which has not been upgraded with the Li3 lithium system, and you just have that 330 amp hour lead acid batteries, which is around 170 amp hours of usable capacity, you're not really going to be taking advantage of this DC air conditioner to run it off your batteries. There's just not enough battery capacity to run it for any meaningful amount of time. But Coachmen making this available to you as an option, when you combine it with the Li3 system, it makes just a ton of sense for those of you who have pets and need to run the air conditioner off battery power while you're away. Now, to convert this area into your bedroom, into your bed, it's pretty easy. You just push a button on the multiplex panel or on the wall, and you just lower the bed down. You remove the armrests, and then you've got a pretty good sized 68 by 76 inch bed. And I got to tell you, the motor on this bed is really quiet. I've been in some coaches where the motor's pretty loud to bring the bed up and down, but on this coach, it was really quiet. A little bit about the bed comfort. The bed comfort was, it was just okay. It might have actually been a little bit on the I wish it were better side. Part of the problem for me is they do claim to use, 3 inches of memory foam, but I just didn't feel it. It felt to me like they could have used memory foam that was twice that thick in order to have real comfort. And that was the case on the ottomans as well. So you'll need to try the bed out for yourself, lay in it for a while. And if you find yourself thinking, oh, I can fix this with a mattress topper, just be aware that, mattress toppers are fine, but they take up a huge amount of space. And in this particular coach, we don't have overhead cabinets above the couch, which is normally the deep cabinets where you would store bulky items like a bed topper. So you'd need to think about where you're going to store something like that. All right, as we head into the bathroom is along the driver's side, and this is a 3-piece wet bath. 3-piece meaning that it has a shower and a toilet and a sink. Wet bath meaning that they're all sharing the same area. Now, when you look at a wet bath, the way you're going to take a shower, watch my video on it, is you're really going to be seated on the toilet. Maybe you'll stand occasionally, but you're really going to be seated on the toilet. What you're looking for in a wet bath is you want to have plenty of elbow room, because you're going to be seated and rinsing yourself off with the shower head. And then you also want to have enough depth there that if you do need to stand, that you can do so without bumping into things as well. And in this case, this bathroom has, I think, because it flares out toward the middle there, it gives you pretty good width. There is the sink there, which is taking up a little bit of space, but I can't really complain about this bathroom. It is a one-piece enclosure, which means that there's no seams at all in this bathroom. I like the built-ins for things like your soap and hanging your towels and things like that. I like having the built-in mirror. Not quite sure about the soap and shampoo dispenser there, although it is in a good location. It's not on the wall where you're going to take up some width. It's on the far wall where the sink is, so the sink's already there and is not, it's not taking up any additional space. It has a toilet paper cover. So, as we look at this bathroom, it functions very well as a wet bath. Here we are standing inside, so you can get some idea of the space. Adequate. I think if you're going to be taller than 5'10", you're going to be crouching down a little bit there. However, notice there is no window and there is no dedicated ventilation in this bathroom, so you're going to have to rely on the ventilation that's in the galley, which is fine, but just be aware that there is no dedicated ventilation in this bathroom. Here I am seated on the toilet. It's adequate. I'm 5'10", and I've got okay shoulder room. Let's take a look at the tank capacities. Freshwater tank's really good for a Class B. 30 gallons. Gray water's 15 gallons. Black water, 12 gallons. A little bit low in my book. Would prefer to see that up a little higher. You have liquid propane at 9.67 gallons. Now, as far as I know, all the water lines are routed internally. You can also get the tank warmers put on. So this coach is a little more ready for four-season, although, again, I'm going to caution you, it's not true four-season because the discharge lines for the black and gray water tanks are exposed to the elements. They are not wrapped in any type of heat tape, so those will freeze. And because of that, this coach is not truly four-season. Those things would all need to be enclosed in heated compartments so that they could withstand really low temperatures. But having all the water lines inside, having the heat pads on the tanks certainly does help. So let's wrap up. You can find dealer pricing anywhere from the low 90s all the way up to over 110, 115,000. This particular coach that we're looking at here does not have the Li3 upgrade, but it does have the interior upgrade. It does have the AC unit upgrade that we talked about, and it's listed here for $99,000. That's in July of 2019. Coach warranties 1 year. I think that's indicative of the build quality. The build quality on this coach is just okay. I would put it up there with kind of, the way road treks when they were being built were, maybe, Winnebago. It's not the best quality, but then again, this coach is tens of thousands of dollars less than what you have to pay for a higher quality coach with a longer coach warranty. However, it does come with 1 year of roadside assistance. So what are the pros of the Beyond? Well, the biggest pros for me are that it's built on the Ford Transit chassis, making it only one of two available here in North America. That's a gas chassis. You can upgrade it to the very capable EcoBoost engine. I think the other pros that this coach has are that there are just a ton of options available for you. So if you want to upgrade it to lithium, it is the only transit chassis out there available that has a lithium upgrade. It's one of the few Class B vans out there that allow you to upgrade the system to lithium. As well, there are other options like the DC Pro Air DC air conditioner, the upgraded electrical system to the 2,000 watt inverter. You can upgrade the insulation package in it. So a lot of configurability. Those are all strengths. What are the weaknesses in this coach? The 1 year warranty. I think the build quality can be higher. I think they're making strides in the right direction to improve that, but they have a ways to go. And I think they need to put 2 additional 3-point seat belts in the back on the 22C at least, in order to make this a true touring coach, one where you feel safe carrying additional passengers in 3-point seatbelts. All right, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching my review of the 2020 Coachmen Beyond 22C. I hope that you found it valuable. I'll see you all again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.